So you don't watch MMA though, like UFC, Bellator, or is that something
I do sometimes, but I have to be with other people. I don't go out on my own to watch it.
You don't seek it out.
Yeah.
You got it. Yeah.
I'm the type of person, after I'm done with training and I'm back at home, Netflix or video games.
Right. So thanks for joining me. Today I have Barbaro Tran Suarez. Is that what you go by? Barbaro Tran Suarez?
Yeah, I always put my middle name in it because I'm named after my uncle. So it's like I want to, establish that I'm a different person from him.
Right. Okay. Interestingly enough, my middle name is Miguel, which is Michael, and I think that I have an uncle named Michael, so kind of similar there. But you're do you say former Marine, or is it like once a Marine, always a Marine kind of vibe?
I heard other Marines tell me that, like, once a Marine, always Marine. I was like, not until I see that paycheck. Right. So I'm like, I'm a Marine vet.
Okay, so you're a Marine veteran.
Yeah.
You're an MMA enthusiast, a martial artist, I'd say, right?
I'm a martial artist, but MMA enthusiast. I don't know. It's weird. I don't care to watch it. I just like learning martial arts. I like the whole aspect. I train like an athlete, but I don't perform. I perform as one, but I don't care about fighting or anything. Okay,
so that's interesting. And then you're an actor.
Yes.
So we've got some juicy things to talk about today. Thank you for joining me. Okay, so we'll start with what I started with first. Mm-hmm. You're a former Marine. When did you join?
2008, February 25th. That's when I left. But I signed the contract in December 2011.
Okay, yeah. Nice. Did you enjoy your time, or what was it?
I don't know how to explain it. It's a love-hate thing. Like,
right.
No regrets. I don't regret it at all. But I was like, in that time in there, I was like, it was terrible in a good way. Like, it was good times and terrible times. But, I would say, I don't regret it. I feel like I am who I am because of that.
So you are, your past experiences make you who you are. I mean, did you ever travel because of being in the Marine Corps? Or?
Yeah. I was stationed in North Carolina, Camp Lejeune, for 2 years. Well, I'd say 2 years. The contract part was I was there for 2 years, but I went to Afghanistan. So part of that 2 years, I was in Afghanistan. When I came back, I went to Okinawa, Japan.
Oh, wow.
And then part of those last 2 years, I also went to Afghanistan again.
Wow. Okay. All right.
So I wasn't any place for 2 years fully.
Right. Did you enjoy Okinawa?
Not at first. Honestly, I enjoyed it like later on. But when I first heard that I was going to Okinawa, I did not want to go. Right. Not because I didn't think it was going to be a good time. I just didn't want to be farther from Michigan. Right. From North Carolina, at least I can drive back home. It was a long ride, but
you could do it. Yeah. There's no driving from Japan.
No, and the ticket, the airplane ticket, like most times when we're okay to buy our tickets, it was like at the last minute, like 2 weeks prior, so the tickets were expensive.
Man, and do you have a lot of family here? Is that?
Yeah, my mother, my aunt, my cousin, her son, and her daughter, my sister and brother. They're all over the place.
They're all over the place?
Well, two of my sisters live in Florida now. Ooh. My brother lives in the UK. He lived over there maybe 15 years or more.
Wow.
And the last time I heard from him, when he talked to me, his English, like he has a Vietnamese accent, but then now it's like a British accent when he talks to me. I'm like, oh man.
That's so crazy to have your brother, have a, wow, that's interesting. Did you learn martial arts because of the Marine Corps or?
Oh, no.
No?
I think at the age of 5 or 6, I saw a Bruce Lee movie. My cousin, she showed me this movie, and I'm like watching it. I'm like, who is this guy? Like, I'm so amazed. I was so impressed by this man. Like, what the movie was? Over here, it's called Fist of Fury, but over there in Southeast Asia, the movie's called The Big Boss. And then I saw him just beating people up, man. And I was like, who is this man? Like, I from that point on, I saw something like, for some reason, like the whole Black Panther thing, like, people like African Americans, when they see this movie, they see like they can see themselves in these characters.
Right.
It was like that for me with Bruce Lee. Yeah. I mean, I'm not fully Asian, I'm half, but I saw another guy that I feel like I look similar to doing this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I can do that.
You can relate to it.
Yeah. And plus, I think it was around that point where I remember first time I got 2 black eyes from a street fight as a kid, like a guy who claimed to be my friend gave me 2 black eyes, and from that point, you got a black eye, you're the loser, even though you might have hit the other person the most.
But you can win. Lost. But if you walk away with 2 black eyes,
he hit me one good time right in between both my eyes, with the bridge of my nose, 2 black eyes right there. Wow. And I was the loser. From that point on, I remember I went back to my cousin's house. I went to this back space. She has this extra room in the back, had some pillows. I remember taking that pillow and start punching at it. That's when I started trying to teach myself how to punch and all that.
Right. So teaching yourself. So you had to teach yourself martial arts. You never.
No, not as a kid. My mom wouldn't let me learn. She was afraid that I would get into more fights.
If you learned how, right. Yeah.
So I learned through other people who actually got formal training.
Right, okay.
So like, oh yeah, show me this. Okay.
I think that's interesting. It's kind of full circle because now you teach MMA, right? I mean, or you teach martial arts, I should say.
I mean, I could say, you could say MMA because I teach you I can understand why we do certain things.
Yeah.
But it's like I can teach you so much, or a good instructor, coach, whatever, can only teach you so much. It's up to you what you do with it.
Right. Yeah. So when did you start, so there's an MMA club on campus, right?
Yes.
And you're a part of that just as a member, or are you like a board member or anything in that, or? It's
kind of weird. We're a club sport. I think that's what they call it in the rec.
Okay.
Or a club sport. And I was just a regular member for a bit, and I felt like I moved up too fast in there. I became the club president. And then later after that, we gave the title to someone else, I became the assistant coach. Okay. I mean, at one point I was both of them, and it was a lot of pressure on me.
Right.
I still did my training, but I just not as much because my focus was split into like 2 different parts.
So focus split in 2. So like assistant coach is like coaching people up, becoming better martial artists.
Yeah.
Because it's a club sport, do you have to face any other school, or do you have to face anybody, or is it just about getting better and practicing? That's
the thing. My coach can set up fights from because we have people from the club who fight other martial arts schools. They talk to promoters, try to match up people and all that, and he can get he knows people because he does it himself. He fights professional level.
What's his name?
Greg Sizemore.
Okay. Sizemore, that's a nice fighting last name there.
Because of him, I honestly gotten a lot better. I remember when I first joined the club. This is a thing in wrestling called shooting in. You shoot in and you pick up somebody and take them down. I could not do that to save myself in the beginning. Now I can do it so smoothly.
Right. So that's all credit to him. I would say, what's hard? I mean, I would ask rather, not I would say. What do you think is the harder? Is it like being the president of the club? You've probably got to be responsible to try to get more members involved, get your presence online and stuff like that out there. Is that something that...
I'm not going to say I was that great of a president. I wasn't a terrible one. Okay, the president before me, he got the club together officially, so the school can recognize it. Me, I got the club over $4,000 as a president, and I feel like I did my job one good time, and that was it for me.
What was harder, though? Coaching or trying to be a president?
President was easy. Coaching the thing is, I can help you fix your technique and all that stuff, but the coaching part, I can't tell you what to do because I don't know, what your strengths and weaknesses are at. Some people I don't know yet.
Right.
Because the thing is, I'm at that point where I'm trying to help you refine your technique, and then from there, once I can understand what you're good at, and maybe I can help you out more. But coaching is a little difficult for me because, I was saying, sometimes when people I watch my friends spar, and then I'm supposed to. My coach tells me, go ahead, give him some advice, coach him. I'm looking dang, I don't know what to say because sometimes some things I do just naturally without thinking because drills, it's just a habit now, and sometimes I have to think about what would I do here.
I think that's why coaching is an art.
Yeah,
because I was saying to you earlier, the saying is those who can't do teach. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I agree with that, but I do get the point of view of just some things come natural to others, and you don't know why it's natural to you. You don't know what, the intricacies of what you're doing. You just do it. So it's hard to try to say, here's what I'm doing, do that. It doesn't always work.
The thing is too, as growing up as a kid, like I said, I learned from other people, because I wasn't allowed to go to martial arts schools. And I watched Bruce Lee movies, but I knew Bruce Lee, the way Bruce Lee fought in the movies was not how he fought in real life. I got to my teenagers where I understood that because I watched this thing where he said he knew how to sell to the camera.
Yeah.
But me, I can imitate what I see most times. If it can't be too complicated, but if it's kind of, I feel fairly simple, I can imitate it.
You can mimic it.
Yeah,
right?
mimic it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, people, I don't know. I also, when I teach people, sometimes, I don't get frustrated because I understand people, if people who have never thrown a punch or a kick, they don't know how to do it. So it's like, I don't get mad or, like, oh my God, I don't say anything like that. I just like, okay, I understand, you don't know how to do it. And that's why you're here.
That's why, exactly. Yeah. So you don't watch MMA though, like UFC, Bellator? Is that something
I do sometimes, but I have to be with other people. I don't go out on my own to watch it.
You don't seek it out.
Yeah.
You got it. Yeah.
I'm the type of person, after I'm done with training, I'm back at home, Netflix or video games.
Right.
I'm a big nerd. And actually, one thing I learned in the club, from what we were told, like from my other friends in there, they told me, yeah, you're going to realize that a lot of people in MMA are actually big nerds. I mean, we don't seem like it, but we are.
Right. Do you have any like experiences where you met somebody like, and you're like, what? You like Dragon Ball Z too?
Oh, no. Like, yeah. That's what I found out. Like some of my friends kept talking about Naruto, right? And the thing is, I know about it, but I didn't really get into it. So they kept talking about it so much that eventually I started watching it.
Yeah, and you were like, okay.
Yeah. But they knew I like Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball because I was like, I tell them I'm kind of old school-ish because I was born in '85, So I'm like, I was like, I'm naming these old animes like Big O, was it Trigun and all that stuff, and Lupin the Third. They're looking at me like, okay, I know about that, but they haven't seen it.
Yeah,
like I know old stuff.
Well, there's something to respect about the old school. I mean, that's what informs the new school. Yeah. But like you said, you don't watch much MMA, but you did watch Bruce Lee. I think that kind of plays into two of your interests, which is martial arts and acting, because Bruce Lee's the pinnacle of martial arts and acting. Maybe like Jackie Chan. Did you watch any of Jackie Chan's work when he was big in China before he came to America?
I like Jackie Chan because he after Bruce Lee died, all these guys tried to imitate Bruce Lee. I think they're called Bruce Ploitation time after that. Clever. And Jackie Chan didn't. He decided to do the opposite. He said Bruce Lee was serious. He was going to be funny. Bruce Lee was a tough guy. He was going to be like the opposite of a tough guy.
Yes.
Bruce Lee punched someone, knocks him out. Jackie Chan was going to hit somebody and hurt his hand.
That's what I love about Jackie Chan is so often he never makes it out of the fight. He's in one piece, literally, but metaphorically, something has happened to him. He carries the knocks that he takes in the fights, and it makes it so much more fun. You're rooting for him at this point because you're like, he's not impossible to beat. This guy can get beat, and then when he wins, it feels earned, and that's what I love about Jackie Chan's work. But it's also like nobody can be indestructible like Bruce Lee. Like that was the best. So you shouldn't try to, You shouldn't try to be Bruce.
No, actually, there was a point in my life, way early on, that I realized I put Bruce Lee way too above me. And then I got to a point in my life where, after again, point where I understand things better, reread his philosophy, and I realized, he's just another man.
Right.
If he can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah.
So I got to the point where I respected Bruce Lee more, as a person, not this myth, this legend that people have made about him.
Right.
I don't like to think that Bruce Lee was undefeatable. I don't think that way because, to say that, to be the best, I feel like you have to fight everyone in the world. Yeah. I feel like there's good people who just don't fight. Yeah. So to say you're the best,
you can never truly know that.
Yeah. Yeah. And Bruce Lee has a saying, I don't know how exactly, I forgot how it goes exactly, but he said something about, he believes that he can't be number one. There is no number one, but he doesn't believe in being second best. So the idea is you keep pushing yourself. Number one is just an illusion, but don't try to settle for second.
Yeah. Right. So I think, it's a good segue naturally into your career as an actor. And I think that's something that you want to make work, right? That's something you hope takes off at some point. What was the first thing you ever did that you acted in?
Okay, I was in elementary school. A friend and I actually came up with an idea for a play. I think we called it the two Grinches who hate spring or something like that. My idea had to involve the DeLorean from Back to the Future. Because I remember bringing it up because I wanted to make one out of cardboard that I can carry around my waist and run in it.
Yeah.
But that got scrapped, and they replaced the DeLorean with Mother Nature, who took us through different points of time.
Okay.
Which wasn't as cool as the DeLorean.
Obviously not. Yeah.
But then after that, I remember middle school, actually a friend of mine reminded me on Facebook that we used to talk about this in middle school and I forgot about it. He said that I kept talking about becoming an actor in middle school. And I didn't realize that. I was like, I did? He's like, yeah, you said you want to be just like Bruce, doing martial arts and being an actor. And I was I remember being the idea about being a martial artist, but an actor, and then it reminded me that it was something I thought about, at a young age that I'm trying to do it. It's one of those things that I know people, who said they were going to do this and, when they were younger, all of a sudden, things happen in their life that they just end up going down a different path. I'm still on the same path that I said I was going to do when I was a kid, a teenager.
But you had honestly forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Like you caught, like, consciously, you forgotten about it, but subconsciously it was always there. You knew what you wanted to do.
Well, I figured it out when I was in Afghanistan. Actually, the first time I went out there, I was on guard duty. I was on post with my buddy. We're there, just making sure the base is safe, looking out, off base. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I don't want to do this as a career. I can't stand this. Like, it sucks. Yeah. And then I was thinking, what do I want to do? And I just acting and filmmaking, and then later I went to Eastern, and then I picked electronic media.
Why Eastern?
Oh, because one of my childhood best friends, he went to Eastern at the time, and I figured I'd go to a place that I know somebody.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
I could have went to Wayne State, but I wanted to get outside of Detroit because I'm from there.
Yeah, and you just wanted to kind of get out of your bubble. Mm-hmm. So you come to Eastern. What was the first thing you acted on in Eastern? At Eastern,
I Love Lucy.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, that was actually, I feel like that's been my best performance yet, because this is the first time I've acted. I don't consider anything I've done as a kid or teenager as anything.
Right.
But at this point, I Love Lucy was the first time I ever auditioned for anything, and I joked around, and my friend Heather Irvine, she kind of pushed me into it because I remember seeing this poster, and I was like, oh, I Love Lucy. I was like, I'm half Cuban. Ricky Ricardo's Cuban. I was like, I can play it. I was just joking around, and Heather was like, you should do it. Like, just give me that push, which I was glad I did.
Yeah.
And I did, and I remember I went there, I auditioned, I came up with an accent, which I had to do a makeshift one. I watched the video before I did the audition, looked at the video, and and I was like, okay. And when I did it,
do you know how many people auditioned?
To be honest, I was the only one for Ricky, and I'm not saying that. I'm glad I got it.
Right. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to say I'm not competitive, but it would have been nice to know that I kind of I beat some people for it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, hey, you got it though. You got it.
I got it. I mean,
you can only face who's in front of you. Yeah. And if no one's there, you're gonna you're gonna go.
And I did it. I remember the things I did with my eyebrows and the way I moved. I didn't realize that's what Ricky did, because the scene I watched, he did this part, but the scene I had to act out, audition for, it was not the part I watched. So I was like move my eyebrows a certain way and all that, and then Ellie Romero, the director, she was like, oh my God, like saying something about how I did things like he did, like the way I moved, the way I did my facial expressions.
You mimicked, like you said, you could watch a movement and you mimicked, And
then so when we actually did the episode, I remember I watched it, maybe the episode like. Since the beginning of the audition, I mean, once I got casted as Ricky, I watched the episode maybe 2-3 times a day, and then I got to the point where I mimicked a lot of his small things he did, the little things he did. Like he might have flicked his shoulder, to clean a piece of dust.
Right.
Or looked a certain way, stood a certain way. I tried to do that.
Yeah, nice. I personally haven't ever seen. Sorry, I got some in my throat. Sorry. So I personally haven't ever seen I Love Lucy, but I'm interested to watch it. I know they're doing, WSF is doing something about the creation of it or something along that lines. But so that was the first thing you did in Eastern. Were you a freshman?
The Marine Corps actually gave me credits from the things I learned in the Marine Corps, which was cool. So when I got here, I was already a sophomore. Nice. That's a plus. I didn't because it was weird because boot camp, the things I did in boot camp. Marine Corps boot camp gave me credits, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
I'll take it, take it any way you can. And then after that, was that like, okay, was that a switch in your brain after I Love Lucy? Like, yep, I got to start doing every short film I can. Well,
at that point, I just wanted to get involved in anything because it's like it's fun, and it was that point where it was just fun, and then I think I got to a point in my life where I felt like I kind of wanted a break from it. So like sometimes I try to give my 100% whenever I get involved, but sometimes I feel like I'm not giving it. Like after I watch it, I look back like, wow. Like, and then the thing is, I knew what was going on in my mind at the time. Like I just, I'm aware of it now. When I look back, like, okay, I know why I was like that. Why I wasn't giving 100%. Like even though I was trying to.
Right. It's almost like hindsight 2020. Yeah. Is there anything that you've been in that really stood out to you besides I Love Lucy? Because I don't want to hash on that too much unless you.
My Way Out, because this is the first time, because my friend Laura Fernandez, who played Lucy, You know, she was a star of most, like, every short thing we've done. She was like the main person they went to. And like this time she wasn't involved in this project. And it was all me this time. And I remember I felt the pressure. I was like, this is my time to shine. I need to give it to them.
Right. What was My Way Out about for the listener? I personally know, but
My Way Out, it's about a man who's depressed, and he's...
One second, sorry. Just move this a little closer to you. Will that even rotate? There you go. Just try to talk into that, because I just noticed right there. Yeah, you're good now.
It's about a man who's depressed, and, he's had, I think, an intervention. His life coach is there, and 3 friends are there. They're just telling him in this thing, they're talking to him, The thing is, they don't understand what he's feeling. Like, you can talk to somebody, who's depressed, but the way they feel won't change because it's all up to them. And then, and we have scenes where we're inside my head, which is this cargo container. And that's where I lose control. Like, I snap, like, I go crazy. And I like that part because I feel like anger is the easiest thing for me to act out because I've been angry so much in my life growing up. I'm cool now. I think it's all out of my system, but I remember my mom saw it. And she told me that wasn't you. You weren't acting. That was really you.
You were letting loose. Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if that was a good thing or not.
I've seen My Way Out, and I've seen a lot of things that you have been in, and I've acted with you.
Yeah.
But My Way Out, I think, is it's my personal favorite role that I've seen you. I don't even know what to call it, portray. I really liked that film a lot. It's a short film, and it's also available on YouTube. Search My Way Out. I think it's through WSF, right? It's on their YouTube channel.
That's what I do. I usually put My Way Out and WSF. Like, anytime we have a video, I always put the name of the video and WSF.
Yeah, and it should come up. So be sure to check that out. Barbaro's great in it. It's the first time I think I saw you get something in your wheelhouse. And I mean, like, something that, like you said, that felt natural and where you didn't necessarily have to, like, when you're playing Ricky, you have to mimic something.
Yes.
When it's My Way Out, you just get to release you get to pull something from inside. And I think that's why I like that film so much.
Actually, yeah, that's how I feel too about My Way Out. Like, everything I've done after that, like you said, my arsenal, what I'm good at, like, I've done, I try to do things that's not really natural to me. I try to do things that are different. That way I can get some experience in it.
Right.
But my sister-in-law told me, you're good at being angry. You need to take advantage of that, or drama. Like, I'm like, she's right.
What's what role have you tried? And you were like, okay, like, I'm glad I tried it. And what was completely out of your comfort zone that you think you attempted?
Voyager, playing a college professor.
Right.
Like, I don't know how to teach anybody.
And now you teach MMA.
Yeah. The thing is, I had to talk about rockets. I'm like, how could I make this sound convincing?
Yeah.
Like, rockets. Because they changed that part, at the last minute. And the thing is, Cameron Combs, who helped me out with that, gave me 15 minutes and I got the lines memorized.
Yeah.
But I remember because I kept trying to memorize it, on my breaks when we weren't shooting scenes with me. Yeah. I was trying to look at the script to get it memorized. Because I'm one of those, like, I want to get everything down. I'm one of those guys, sometimes it bothers me when I don't memorize something. It
was also, like, tough science jargon, like flux capacitors and, the typical sci-fi, crazy words.
I can talk about 1.21 gigawatts all day, but we're talking about rockets. I don't know anything about rockets.
So why not theater?
Okay, theater. I don't know. Be honest, I don't think I'll be good on stage. I don't think that's my thing.
Not your realm?
Yeah. Like, I have some friends that are excellent on stage. And actually, there was a point in my life where when I would go to these shows on Eastern Campus, right? Yeah, when I watched them, it made me feel depressed. I was like, they're good.
It made you feel depressed?
It's like, dang, these people are good. My friends are good. And then I realized, I had to get to the point where I realized that I have my own set of skills. Yeah. It's just, they have their skills and I have mine. I just got to stop comparing myself to other people.
Yeah, yeah. You got to get out of your own head about it and like, let loose, like, draw from within. But what do you think, if there was a role you had to play on stage, is there anything you've ever seen that you would, or no?
No, I haven't. Everything I've seen so far was things that I feel like I wouldn't be good at. Okay. Because it's not something I can connect to. Like, they're enjoyable to watch. Yeah. But character-wise, like, they're not characters that I feel like I can connect to.
What about a dream role for film? Is there something that, like, if you had a choice, and well, not even feature, right? Short film. If you had somebody came to you and said, Barbaro, I'll make the movie you want to make. what are you doing it?
Oh man, I would love to be a superhero movie. If not, I don't know what superhero I can look like. I mean, I can play that hasn't already been played. Because
I think you can play Aquaman.
Yeah, but someone else took that job, Jason Momoa.
Not saying any names, Jason Momoa.
No, or action movies. Anything that involves martial arts or some kind of fighting in it.
Yeah. Okay. Would it be fiction, or would you ever consider? Did you want to play something like a real person, or do you think you want to play a character?
I would like to play a character, but I didn't think about playing a real person. That'd be fun. Yeah, that'd be fun to do.
Yeah, I mean you didn't play a real person, but you played somebody who played somebody in Ricky. In Ricky from I Love Lucy, and you said you liked your performance in it, so maybe that's in the cards in the future. But I got one last question for you. Okay. Something I ask everybody on this show called Talk 30 to Me, which we're doing here, is where are you from and where are you going? And you touched on it a little before, but where are you from and where are you going?
I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and I'm hoping, somewhere down the line, I'm in a film or some kind of martial arts film, action film, superhero film. While I'm on that process of doing that, I'm also teach martial arts, do my thing, because there was a point in my life where I tried to separate the two, the martial artist and the actor. And that made me feel depressed. Now I realize they're one thing. They're two sides of a coin. I got to stop separating those two things and put it into one.
Right. Yeah. I like that answer a lot. Last question, then I know that's kind of a lie, but you made me think of something. Would you ever be a stuntman?
I would like to try that out because I feel like I would be good at doing something that's physical. Because
right.
I'm not saying, we're talking about skill sets. Like I've seen my friends, they're good at something, but I feel like I can take the punishment.
Right.
Physical punishment.
Physically, yeah,
I can take it.
All right. Well, thank you for being on today, Barbaro.
Thank you for inviting me.
So that was the show. That was Barbaro Tran Suarez. He's a good friend, and I'm happy he was on today. And actually, he's the sponsor for today's episode. If you would like to contact him, if you'd like to be trained in MMA, or just learn the basics and fundamentals from Barbaro himself, contact him at Bruce_JF_Lee1127 at yahoo.com. That's Bruce_JF_Lee1127 at yahoo.com. Thanks for listening. So long, world.